Hello, all things Montessori. I hope everyone's having a fantastic Tuesday so far. Jamie and I this week talked all about work of the home and practical life. We thought this was pretty relevant right now since all of us are home. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like my house is just a constant state of clutter, dog hair, dishes, and just things that need to be put away. And the best thing about this is that children actually like this work. They like to help in the home. They find it rewarding and meditative, and it also can be a huge help to you. So with the holidays coming up and everything, what better time than to talk about this? So we go through all of that. We have a new patron to welcome. Welcome, Kyle. Thank you so much for joining All Things Montessori. We couldn't be happier that you're here. If you want to become a patron, just like these incredible people, head on over to our Patreon page. It's linked below. And as always, thank you guys so much for all of your support. We couldn't do this without you, and we just can't wait to keep making it. Thank you. If you haven't already, go ahead and check out Sapling Supply. We are such big fans of this company. It's by two Montessori dads. They make beautiful, natural Montessori furniture. Definitely go check them out. And if you would like to purchase anything, you can get 10% off site-wide with our podcast promo code ATM10. That's 10% off site-wide with our promo code ATM10. Check it out.
Hey, Rachel.
Hi, Jamie. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I just went out and raked up 20 bags of leaves.
Now, what size bags are we
in my
talking?
yard.
Like, that's a lot of bags. Like,
It's those big yard waste
oh yeah,
bags, you
Yes.
know, like the paper
Oh,
ones
yeah.
from.
hmm
Yeah, so that was fun.
So you're exhausted.
But the work around the house, it's always there. It never
I
ends.
know. And we thought, why not talk about work of the home and, how we do that in the classroom, but also everybody's kind of home right now. And with some, holiday breaks coming up, you might be thinking, well, what am I going to do with my child who's at home? Or maybe you're a teacher and you want to support your parent community or whatever. That's what we're going to talk about. Work of the home. So just like Jamie, you did your work of the home today. You're raking.
I know. I did try to get the teenager to help me, but suddenly homework becomes a lot more important.
Oh, yeah.
When
Oh, yeah. It's like, I'm really busy, Mom. So funny.
But yeah, it's an important part. I mean, we at home have a community at home, those of us living in a home, in a space together. And that comes with, responsibilities and obligations for maintenance and upkeep and support of life at home. And the amazing thing is that children actually really enjoy participating in those activities.
They do. And I know that might be hard to believe, but it's really true because I've seen it happen in the classroom. And children get really, really into it. And there's a distinct reason why starting in toddler and through primary and, through every level, there's some aspect of practical life. Now, I do think it's more prominent in primary, but it's still very much existing in elementary. And my favorite thing about practical life or, the upkeep of the classroom, it feeds into that community experience. Everybody has a community job. Everybody is taking care of their community because it's theirs, right? It's not like, oh, well, somebody else is going to come clean it, so I don't really care about it. It's everybody's participating in an environment they all share. And that's what a home is. So it's very much like, the home at home and then the home environment in the classroom. It really feeds into that care of, care of materials, care of environment, care of animals in the classroom, all of that.
Yep. And if you're a parent, it's really ideal to start this care of the, home environment, when they're really young. Because all of these activities, they have really great value for the children developmentally, because there's all sorts of coordination that's refined through a lot of practical life activities, but also it becomes just a part of their, it just becomes a part of what they expect they have to do and around the house. So it's not something that you want to introduce too late in their age, if possible, because then it becomes more like a chore. But when they're 1 or 2, even helping to set the table or helping to prepare the meal or helping to organize laundry, like all of that is really satisfying and exciting. Now, when you involve children in work of the home, some of those sort of everyday activities when they're young, especially when they're really little, it's going to take much longer than if you just do it yourself. And basically, anytime you're going to teach any age child a new activity or new skill, it will take longer. But it takes longer then, and then in the future, it saves you time when they can do it, right?
Yes.
So it pays off in the long run.
It really does.
if you can have the patience.
Yeah. Patience is key
when they're young.
Encouragement. Let's say that they're helping prepare dinner and something breaks or they don't measure something correctly. I mean, you never really want to go into work of the home with like super high stakes, like, oh my gosh, you didn't fold this shirt the right way. No, because that's going to turn them off to it, right? It's all about doing something to feel helpful and appreciative and learning. So that positivity, the collaboration, because I mean, I think we all, you feel a sense of accomplishment when you take care of your environment. Like, honestly, when I vacuum my entire house, I feel incredible. And I just do. I'm like, oh my God, it looks so good in here. And, I have a dog who sheds a lot, so it's even more of a visual experience. But what I mean is, you're putting work into a home that you love, you're taking care of it. And that's what the child is going to feel too. And I think a lot of like food prep and things like that can be centered around an experience with family or with a community is really a positive experience, because then that kind of sets the expectation for their whole life, right? Like we all work together to create this thing together, to have this experience together. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when they're little and young, if you've got children under 6 or especially even children under 3, a lot of the support of, the practical life activities can be helping them toward independence. So some of it can be helping them to dress themselves or learn to brush their own teeth or those kinds of things. But they also are quite capable of helping with food preparation. You just have to, you need a good stool or something that they can use in the kitchen, unless you happen to have counters at their height. But if they have a table at their height, you could put some of the activity at that level. They can fold, they can help fold or at least sorting laundry. So, if when my kids were that age, I'm going to admit it, I often had just huge, piles of laundry, on the bed or wherever in laundry baskets. And so sometimes an activity with the girls would be to sort through, like, let's make piles of mama's clothes and daddy's clothes and Ellie's clothes and Vivi's clothes, that kind of sorting activity they can absolutely help with.
Right. Well, no, Jamie, I think everyone has piles of laundry. It's okay. Everyone does. Everyone does.
Constantly. But when they can help with some of that, it's great. And it builds, again, it's that you get that collaboration and working together. They're learning some skills, and they're also going to remember, that this is just a work that we do at home.
Right. And the work is for a purpose. It really, when things just are done for you, it's a different experience, because then that expectation is that, oh, well, my laundry is always just done for me. So, it's really interesting. I have a really vivid memory of growing up. My dad always would do the laundry. It was like his thing. And my job was always to find the matching socks and fold the socks. And like, that was like my thing that I did. Oh my gosh. So folding socks as a kid is fascinating. And then of course we would open the sock drawer and then like play a basketball game trying to get the socks into the drawer. I don't really know like what that, that was just the fun part. But yeah, that stuck with me. Right. And, always was a part of, I grew up always being a part of everything too. Because it was not, there wasn't really another option. Like, yeah, we're setting the table, so please go. You know what I mean? It was like, this is what we're doing, so go do it.
So, and even little ones can set the table. They can help clear the table. Yes. And then the key is that, like at every age, increase the sort of complexity, so that they're doing more and more things to help around the house. And if they're doing, like, you can start when they're young, they can help prepare their snack, but maybe they're not preparing it start to finish, right? Like maybe you've already cut or prepared some fruit in the refrigerator, and they're just choosing which one that they're going to have, and they're setting it onto a plate or something. I mean, you can limit the amount of, the kind of the scope of the project depending on the child's age and the time that you have and that sort of thing. So don't feel like you have to make them be involved from start to finish in every single project you want them to support around the house.
That's a great point.
You can define the scope a little bit. So maybe you're going to get the silverware, but you're not going to get the glasses yet. Or maybe you're going to, I don't know. You can just think in terms of that it doesn't have to be the whole thing. Because I think sometimes parents can get discouraged when they try to do some of these activities at home because it's actually quite a large one, and it's maybe the child loses interest or has trouble managing all the little aspects. And like when we do practical life in primary, it's very carefully sort of thought out, the movements and the steps. And so we just need to do a little bit of that at home too. Just think, okay, can the child handle all of this project I want to do, both unloading and reloading the dishwasher, or can they participate in just a portion of it or whatever?
Yeah. I mean, I think start small, right? I mean, I think because then you'll have a success rate and then they will want to continue. You don't want to set them up, to fail. Because that'll be discouraging for the child. It'll be discouraging from you as a parent. And really, like, I think a lot of, parenting is tough and kids are, tough, and all of it's hard right now because we're just at home, right? So, I feel like I've never been in my kitchen more in my entire life than during 2020 because we're just eating at home so much, right? Like it's just crazy.
And somehow there's always like dirty dishes and there's always something to
every
clean.
time. I'm like, where are I don't even know what this dish is from. Like I don't, whatever. So I think
like who got the stove completely dirty again? I swear I just washed it like an hour ago.
It's never
like,
ending.
Yeah, no, there's
it's
which is great. Especially when they're younger because they love to have more work to do.
Yes.
I was thinking with leaves though too, when the kids would help us when they were younger, especially when they were under 6, they were not super efficient at it either because it was just so satisfying to like rake up a few and then put them in the bin or whatever. And so they wouldn't do it in the most efficient manner. Like they wouldn't try to get as many leaves per trip or anything like that. Like I'm trying to like maximize my energy. They aren't going to do it that way either. And don't worry about it when they're young. Like just the fact that they're participating is great.
Yes.
And you just keep modeling for them how to perhaps be more efficient and they'll pick it up. But just having them out there, even if they only fill, a tiny little amount of a bag and you fill 20.
Right.
those are the things. But as they get older, when they're elementary children, you can say, hey, this is going to take you 10 times longer than if you were more efficient. You can have actual
Yes.
conversations with them. Or you can say, listen, this is your half of the yard, and it can take you 3 hours or it can take you half an hour. Like, it's up to you, but I'm not doing that half of the yard because you agreed to help me. Like, those are the kinds of, you can have more real conversations like that with elementary age children. But under 6, just be happy that they're helping. And as they get older, help to build their, understanding and sense of responsibility to the actual work, so that they're perhaps becoming more efficient.
Yeah, and don't be
it.
afraid to have those conversations too with your elementary age child. I think it's totally okay to hold them accountable and say, well, we agreed on this, so that's what's happening. And you're right, Jamie. Like, I think it's good to challenge them to be like, well, you agreed to this, and it might take you however long, but you stick to that agreement, because it's then there's this natural consequence that kind of like sets in, or like they're like, oh, okay. You're putting it on them, and it's not in a mean or it's nothing like that. It's just like, well, it's black and white. Like, we agreed to this, and this is what we're going to do, and they respond well.
And if
to
you're
that.
goofing around and and if you're going to goof around and jump into the leaves, that's great. But
okay, but
don't expect me to
have fun with that. Like, have a great time.
Right. And then rake them
right
up.
Exactly. And okay, bye. I mean, I loved sort of joking a little bit with the elementary students I've had in the past about classroom jobs, and there'd be just plants dying throughout the classroom or something, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like, what's happening, right? And not in any sort of, you didn't do this and this is what's going to happen, just a friendly reminder. But you can kind of joke with them, be a little bit more, casual, because they want to help out the classroom. They don't want to not fulfill their job. It's just a good reminder, and the children will keep each other accountable too, speaking in the classroom, because, they all want it to be a nice environment as well. Or like, who's in charge of like refilling the supply shelf, or, sharpening pencils, or making sure there's paper, whatever. I mean, it's going to affect everybody in the classroom. And that goes into that whole community aspect where everybody is respectful of everyone else's learning, and they're respectful of that, this environment is shared with all of us. So we have to exist in it.
And the same is true at home, right? So that we're sharing this space, so we all have some responsibility in helping with it. So as you start thinking toward the holiday time, if you've managed to get your children out of the house at school and they're going to be home a lot more, or even if they are, like, really incorporating into every day some of this sort of practical life, taking care of the home environment is a really, it's really valuable.
Yes.
The one exception I would say that I've always encouraged parents to pick their battles on is children's bedrooms.
I was going to bring that up too. Yeah, go. Yes, let's please talk about that.
Because for, definitely the areas of the house that we all share need to be kept tidy, because we're all sharing it, and you can't leave your own personal mess everywhere. Or let me rephrase that. Some people do leave their personal messes everywhere, but then those people need to clean up their personal messes in a shared space. But if the inhabitants of a bedroom, whether, whoever is in it, whether it's 1 or 2 or 3 children, if they all agree they're okay with a messy space, then just shut the door.
Yeah.
As a parent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My mom, with the way my sister and I were raised, was exactly like that. We all helped with the main rooms. And I don't know if she just gave up, or, she's secretly a Montessori, and I'm not sure which one it is. But, it was sort of like, if we're having company over, or like family was coming to visit, that's a different scenario, because, let's like, can you wipe down the bathroom like that people are going to use? Hello.
Right.
Yeah, but rooms, that's for them to discover on their own. I mean, my bedroom was a disaster all throughout high school.
Oh, and so was mine.
Oh my
So
God.
was
It
mine.
was a mess.
And
It's
my
a
mom
mess.
just told me I had to keep my door shut. And
Yeah, same.
it was just when I was going to have a sleepover
Yep.
or something like that. That would be the excuse to force
Yep.
me to
Yes.
clean.
Yeah.
Which my
yeah.
favorite room cleaning technique was to throw anything that was on the floor into my closet.
In the closet? Yes.
Mhm.
I remember I did that one time, and then my mom, it was like a cute little moment where she was like, oh, well, I used to do that too. You finally figured it out. Oh, it's great.
But overall, it's better just not to engage because it becomes rapidly like a power
Yes.
struggle. Like, why do they have to clean their room? No one else is going to be in there, especially if they're old enough and they're doing their own laundry. They're keeping track of their own
Yeah.
stuff. Like, let it be. But the rest of the house where everyone shares the space, then that requires maintenance and that requires respect of the other people. So take the opportunity, winter break, especially when you have time to, do some cooking together. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you can, there's all the baking and other things maybe that you do during that time. That sort of thing can be an opportunity to help them develop and exercise more of these practical life skills at home. So
yeah, definitely. I think it's a great opportunity for that. And I also, I would just recommend, I think, again, just take it slow, step by step, start with one thing, because I think it can be frustrating. I feel for all parents right now because it's like everyone's always there all the time. I was talking to one of my best friends and she was like, I've been trying to call you, but I can't seem to get away from anyone in my house to make a phone call because everyone's just around all the time. It's just what it is, all the time.
the time. Yes. But where you can take advantage of that and, so it's a good time to look around and say, okay, what's my child capable of doing now? And how could I bring some interest and excitement to that, skill I want to teach them, whether it's, cleaning a toilet, whether it's vacuuming, this is the time too. I was just thinking, oh, I need to put the storm windows down on our sunroom. Like they can learn all of those kinds of skills about the maintenance of the house. If you're cleaning gutters, maybe you don't want them up on the ladder necessarily, but you can have them out there helping to gather all the stuff together that you're throwing down. Any of those kinds of things, especially at the elementary, but at any age, the children can be out and sort of helping you with, even if it makes the task take longer. It's really helping the children develop skills they need.
Yeah. And their life skills, right? I mean, Montessori is all about aid to life, building these amazing humans to be prepared for life and practical life and work of the home. That is huge. That is a really big part of being a human and being a productive human, so why not just start young? So, work from home, work of the home, have fun with all of that.
Right. And, share with us the things you've been doing or that you found children capable of. I think what you'll find is that they're remarkably more capable than sometimes you expect when you get them started on tasks. And it's satisfying. And I think especially for children that haven't been at school in a while, feeling like they're doing something meaningful that contributes to the family will feel really satisfying to them. I think that they'll get a lot of that sense of pride and responsibility in their own work will emerge. So I highly encourage you find ways to involve them in all the things that need to be done.
And everyone enjoy, all the holidays and all of that. It's such a crazy year to I don't know. It's strange that, Jamie, we were just talking about how time is like slow and fast at the same time. But enjoy the time home with everybody in this we got some nice little breaks coming up soon. So enjoy it.
Right. But stay home and wear your mask.
Right. Wear your mask. Don't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm. We want to emerge from this.
We do.
So let's
we
do
sure
that little
do.
bit.
We sure do.
That we need to do.
That's right.
Yep.
Good reminder, Jamie. Nice.